All right, let's make sure we understand the difference between the word conjugate and the word additive inverse. So I'm going to start you off with an expression, c minus 4. That is a binomial that has two terms. If I ask you for the conjugate of this expression, I'm asking you to change that middle symbol. So I'd leave the term c, I'd leave the term 4, but subtraction would change into addition. And that's what the conjugate is, changing the middle symbol only. Now, if I asked you for the additive inverse of c minus 4, additive inverse means to add the opposite, which means I would want the opposite of each of these pieces, these terms. What's the opposite of c? Negative c. What is the opposite of negative 4? Positive 4. We know if these expressions are additive inverses, if we add them up, we should make a 0. So if I took c and added it to negative c, they would cancel out and make a 0. If I took negative 4 and added it to positive 4, they would cancel out and make a 0. So if you look, conjugate changes the middle symbol of the binomial. Additive inverse changes both symbols. And that's what I want to make sure you understand. If I have this binomial, negative 2x plus 7. Okay, if I ask you for its conjugate, what am I changing? I'm changing the middle symbol. So the first term would say negative 2x, the last term would say 7, but now it would change to negative. If I asked you for the additive inverse, I'm asking you to change all the terms. So the opposite of negative 2x would be positive 2x, and the opposite of positive 7 would be negative 7. And we know if we took this expression and added it to its additive inverse, we should make 0, because that's what happens. Additive inverse means adding the opposite, and when you add the opposite in arithmetic, you get a 0. So everybody look closely. The word conjugate does not mean the same thing as the word additive inverse. Conjugate changes the middle symbol of the binomial. Additive inverse changes all of the symbols. Secondly, you're only going to talk about the word conjugate with a binomial. I can't ask you the conjugate of a monomial. That doesn't exist. I can't ask you the conjugate of a trinomial. It doesn't exist, because the definition, listen to the definition. Conjugate says changing a middle symbol. So you have to have two terms and something in the middle. That's why we only talk about the word conjugate with binomials. Now that we know what the word means, we're going to use it to do a trick to multiply binomials. I'll see you in the next video.